In the question and answer column of the April Economic Review, there was some discussion of a demerit good in the context of fast food. So I'm just going to talk briefly about the diagrams that would be needed in order to illustrate a demerit good. Suppose first of all that this figure shows the market. So we've got demand and supply, we have an equilibrium with a price P, and the amount Q of fast food being consumed. Now we know consumers choose to buy fast food because of its convenience, perhaps because of its instant appeal or its cheapness. However, consumers don't necessarily recognize the potential harm that this sort of diet may do. So they may become obese, may suffer poor health in later life. Now, if that is the case, this can have an impact on society as a whole, because an unhealthy workforce may mean lower productivity. It may even mean less healthcare resources are available for the treatment of other people, and of course in particular other taxpayers. Question is, how can we show this on a diagram? Well, most simply we can argue that Q in the diagram here represents overconsumption of fast food. But that's not really helping us to analyze what's going on. So a more rigorous approach could argue that the demand curve shown here is based on inadequate information about the benefits of consuming fast food. In other words, we could argue that the demand curve is based on a misperception of the long-term benefits that individual consumers receive from consuming fast food, and in addition ignores the lower benefits that society as a whole receives from the good. Now what that suggests is that we should relabel the demand curve as the marginal private benefit of consuming fast food, and recognize that the true marginal social benefit, which I've called MSB, is lower than marginal private benefit. This in turn suggests that Q star here is the optimum level of consumption from society's point of view. So this is a more helpful way of analysing the impact of a demerit good. Also helps us to think about the options that could be adopted to deal with this situation. One option might be regulation that limits the sale of fast food, which of course might be quite difficult to implement. A second option would be to shift supply to the left by imposing a tax on fast food. Or alternatively, we could attack the information failure directly by influencing the position of the demand curve, for example by convincing people that fast food is bad for them. So those are the sort of approaches we could take to analysing the effect of a demerit good in the context of fast food. I hope that was helpful.